The quiet moments of the morning often bring a strange clarity, a soft light that gently illuminates the edges of yesterday's burdens. There is a subtle weight in the heart when thoughts linger on what cannot be changed, on moments past or words spoken that cannot be taken back. It is here, in this delicate tension between what is and what was, that the mind quietly searches for release. The restless chatter of unfulfilled expectations and unresolved emotions can feel heavy, almost as if carrying the weight of the world on one's shoulders. Yet within this heaviness lies a unique opportunity, a chance to see that the struggle itself, the very resistance to what is the true source of pain. In learning to release, to step back from the tight grip of attachment, there is not loss, but freedom. Stoicism does not ask for detachment in a cold, hollow sense. It calls for a deeper understanding, a gentle invitation to witness life without being consumed by it, to acknowledge reality and allow the heart to breathe in its vastness. There is a power in letting go, a subtle strength in accepting that some things belong not to control, but to the flow of existence. In this early light, when the mind is soft and receptive, the practice of releasing begins, not as an act of weakness, but as an embrace of inner resilience. Life often presents moments that seem unyielding, experiences that cling to the mind with persistence, as though refusing to be set aside. There are memories that return uninvited, worries that thread through the day, shadows of conversations and choices that linger. Stoicism offers a way to navigate these currents with grace. It reminds that thoughts are like passing clouds. They are real, yes, but they are not permanent. They arrive, they drift, and they fade. The practice begins in noticing without clinging. Observe the mind as it brings forth its stories, its judgments, its desires, and allow them to move without insisting on ownership. This act of gentle witnessing is the first step toward liberation. By giving space to thoughts without letting them dictate inner peace, the mind begins to reclaim its natural stillness. There is a quiet empowerment in realizing that even when circumstances feel heavy, the inner self remains untouched, capable of returning to calm no matter what storms arise. Each morning offers a fresh page, a chance to let go of yesterday's weight, to start again with clarity and intention. The simple act of breathing in and out, noticing the present, becomes a profound exercise in freedom, a Stoic tool that nurtures both heart and mind. The principle at the heart of this practice is subtle yet transformative. It is the recognition that control is not found in external events, but within one's own responses. Stoicism teaches that suffering often stems not from the events themselves, but from the refusal to accept them as they are. Resistance, clinging, and resentment create chains that the mind mistakes for reality. By shifting focus from what cannot be commanded to what is within reach, the thoughts, the perceptions, the choices, there emerges a clarity that is both liberating and empowering. Letting go, then, is not an act of surrender to chaos, but an active alignment with truth. It is a mindful release of expectation and judgment, an understanding that attachment to fleeting things only nourishes dissatisfaction. Each instance of relinquishing control over what is outside influence strengthens the capacity to respond with wisdom rather than reaction, with calm rather than agitation. This principle extends into every corner of life. Unspoken words, broken plans, past mistakes, fleeting emotions, and the restless pull of what could have been. By holding gently to what is meaningful and releasing what lies beyond grasp, the inner landscape transforms. Peace grows not in the absence of challenge, but in the conscious choice to not be bound by it. This is the essence of the Stoic approach to letting go, an elegant and practical philosophy that cultivates resilience, clarity, and deep-seated serenity in the midst of life's inevitable unpredictability.
The wisdom of Stoicism becomes tangible when observing everyday life, when applying its gentle guidance to moments that would otherwise stir frustration or sorrow. Consider the natural flow of events that seem beyond influence, the delayed journey, the unexpected conflict, the small betrayals of circumstance. These moments are not interruptions of life, but invitations to practice mastery over the self. By seeing them not as personal affronts, but as neutral occurrences, the mind begins to loosen the grip of habitual reactivity. It is in the simple acknowledgement, "This has happened, and I can respond with reason," that inner freedom emerges. Each morning, as the world begins its motion, there is the opportunity to choose responses that are measured rather than automatic, that are deliberate rather than dictated by impulse. This mindful approach turns ordinary experience into practice, cultivating patience, calm, and a steady heart. In doing so, the mind discovers a quiet power. It can remain anchored, unaffected by the turbulence of what is outside control, finding in stillness the clarity to act wisely when action is needed and to let go when it is not. Examples of this philosophy in motion are subtle yet profound. When a plan collapses unexpectedly, the first impulse may be frustration or self-reproach. The Stoic approach asks not for denial of feeling, but for careful recognition of the situation and the response it invites. The energy spent resisting what is beyond control can instead be channeled into solutions, reflections, or simply acceptance. In interpersonal moments, when words are harsh or intentions unclear, the mind can practice patience and empathy without losing itself to anger or resentment. Letting go of the compulsion to correct, punish, or control preserves emotional energy and cultivates inner peace. Journaling each morning, noting events and emotional responses becomes a tool to observe patterns, to see attachments that bring suffering, and to consciously release them. Mirror work, speaking truths softly to the self, reinforces this practice, reminding that personal value does not depend on external acknowledgement, that self-worth is grounded in the quality of thought and choice, rather than circumstance. Gratitude for the present, for the breath, for the small certainties of each morning anchors the mind further, allowing a gentle detachment from what cannot be changed and a deeper appreciation for what is enduring. The process of reflection deepens when exploring the interplay between thought and emotion. Stoicism teaches that the mind's interpretations shape experience far more than the events themselves. The tension that arises from clinging to outcomes is often unnecessary, a shadow created by expectation. By noticing these shadows without judgment, the mind gradually releases them, replacing automatic resistance with conscious consideration. Reflecting on past reactions reveal patterns, times when attachment created suffering, when refusal to let go prolonged discomfort, when insistence on control obscured what was truly valuable. Such awareness is not an exercise in self-criticism, but in gentle observation and growth. Each insight becomes a stepping stone toward greater resilience. The body and mind respond in harmony to this awareness. Tension eases, the heart beats with steadiness, and thoughts align with clarity rather than chaos. In these moments, the practice of letting go is not a one-time act, but a continuous, mindful return to balance. Stoicism encourages the morning mind, soft and open, to set the tone for the day, to meet events with calm discernment, to release what cannot be held, and to act with intention in what can be shaped. The journey is subtle, often unseen by the world, but profoundly transformative within the self, creating a life guided not by reactivity, but by reasoned choice, grounded presence, and quiet courage. Even the most earnest attempts at letting go can stumble when the mind falls into familiar traps. One common mistake is believing that detachment means indifference, that release is the same as caring less. True Stoic practice is not about abandoning life or emotion, but about observing without being enslaved. Another misstep arises when attachment to outcomes overshadows presence, when thoughts endlessly replay what should have been rather than engaging fully with what is. There is also the tendency to confuse patience with passivity, to delay action while waiting for perfect calm, when in fact, letting go empowers clear and decisive responses. Recognizing these pitfalls requires honesty and compassion with oneself. The mind must learn to distinguish between what deserves energy and what drains it, between influence and surrender. By identifying these patterns, the path becomes clearer. Each misstep is not failure, but guidance, an opportunity to refine understanding and return to balance. Morning reflection can help illuminate these areas, a gentle inventory of where clinging still lingers and where freedom has begun to take root. The practice of letting go grows stronger with intentional action. Each day offers small exercises in mindfulness and release. Noting thoughts as they arise and choosing which to follow fosters discernment. A short journaling ritual can help trace attachments, uncover recurring worries, and allow conscious decisions about which concerns are worthy of attention. Breathing exercises in the quiet of morning, focusing on the rise and fall of the chest, anchor the mind in the present moment, providing a stable foundation for whatever comes next. Visualizing the impermanence of events and emotions softens the grip of expectation, reminding that life flows and cannot be contained by desire or fear. A deliberate morning affirmation can be woven into this practice, acknowledging that peace is found not in controlling the uncontrollable, but in mastering the self. Each of these steps is small, yet cumulatively they cultivate resilience and clarity, reinforcing the Stoic principle that inner freedom is a daily, mindful choice rather than a distant ideal. Letting go becomes not a singular act, but a living practice, unfolding moment by moment with patience, awareness, and gentle resolve. Perhaps the most profound understanding comes from seeing letting go as a gift to oneself. In releasing attachment to outcomes, opinions, and regrets, the mind discovers its innate spaciousness. Life, in its unpredictability, becomes a canvas for presence rather than a battlefield of resistance. There is a soft joy in waking each day free from the heavy weight of yesterday, in responding to circumstances with composure instead of reaction, in choosing thoughts that nurture rather than confine. This perspective does not erase challenge or discomfort, it transforms the experience of them. Pain and loss are natural, yet they need not define the inner state. By aligning attention with what can be influenced and relinquishing what cannot, the heart feels lighter, perception sharper, and action more intentional. The principle extends beyond thought alone. It touches the body. As tension dissolves, energy flows more freely, and a steady calmness permeates physical presence. Letting go thus becomes a holistic practice, nurturing mind, body, and spirit in harmonious rhythm with life's ever-shifting currents.
Reflection also reveals the deep interplay between self-discipline and compassion in this practice. Stoicism teaches that mastery is not harsh control, but mindful guidance, gentle steering of thought and emotion toward balance. Repeatedly returning to the present, releasing the pull of past or future, and noticing internal reactions fosters a kind of self-respect rooted in clarity rather than ego. Compassion for oneself naturally extends outward. When inner tension eases, interactions with others become calmer, more understanding, and less reactive. The practice of letting go is therefore both personal and relational, a quiet revolution within that subtly transforms the way the world is experienced. Small, deliberate acts, pausing before responding, acknowledging emotion without being carried by it, reflecting on transient nature, build a foundation for a life where freedom is cultivated not through avoidance, but through awareness and choice. In this light, letting go is not a loss, but a form of profound gain, a daily reclaiming of energy, focus, and peace. As the morning unfolds, there is an invitation to integrate these principles fully into daily rhythm. Each moment presents an opportunity to observe without clinging, to act without attachment, to respond with discernment rather than impulse. Letting go is not a final destination, but a continuous practice, a morning-to-morning commitment to nurturing freedom of thought and clarity of heart. Over time, these repeated small acts coalesce into a resilient inner life, one in which stress is met with composure, disappointment with equanimity, and change with acceptance. By focusing on what is within influence, actions, attitudes, perceptions, the mind is liberated from the unnecessary weight of what is beyond reach. There is a quiet empowerment in this perspective, a subtle confidence that arises from the recognition that while life cannot always be commanded, the self can be cultivated and strengthened in every circumstance. Finally, the essence of letting go is a gift available in the quiet embrace of each morning. The mind, unburdened by clinging, can meet life with warmth, clarity, and gentle curiosity. The heart, freed from unnecessary resistance, can engage with joy and calm. Each day begins not with the expectation of perfection, but with the intention to practice awareness, acceptance, and thoughtful response. In this practice, even small steps matter, and each moment of release builds upon the last. There is an inherent beauty in the simplicity of letting go. It is a return to the natural order, a harmonizing of thought with reality, a gentle reclamation of peace. Life, seen through the lens of Stoicism, becomes less about struggling against circumstance and more about navigating with wisdom, patience, and compassion for oneself and the world. With each conscious breath, each mindful reflection, and each deliberate release, the mind grows lighter, the heart steadier, and the day opens with possibility. Morning can now be a space of renewal, a place to practice the quiet art of letting go, and a foundation upon which peace, clarity, and empowerment are built. And in these moments, an affirmation arises naturally. Inner freedom is not found in changing the world, but in cultivating the self. Peace is born not in control, but in the gentle embrace of what is.